Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with the other host,
Tristan Walter.
And what are we doing today, Tristan Walter?
More Doctor Who Wednesday. Doctor Who Series 9, yes?
Yes,
Yes.
episodes 1 to 6, which are technically three arcs, but really more so 4. Because technically 5 and 6 are not a two-parter. Like, they obviously connect. They connect in a very obvious way. But technically, the one with Ashilda, i.e. me, i.e. Maze Williams. Because at that point, you're just like, that's Maze Williams. Yeah, she... Like, I didn't even watch much Game of Thrones, but I'm like, yep, that's her. That's a Maze Williams. Or Maisie Williams. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. That's how much I know.
Okay.
All I know is apparently she's only 5 years younger than me, but she looks infinitely 12, which is hilarious because she got cast in the series with the 12th Doctor.
Nice.
No, but seriously, doesn't she look But no, I'm not even making a joke. Doesn't she look infinitely 12? Like, if I told you she was 19 years old, would you believe me?
Yeah, probably.
All right, because she's going to be 20 soon, so it's just, I believe. So it's just like, I can't see it. Like, she looks at least, to be fair, to be fair, at least, 16. Like, she looks like one of my students. That's why it's just confusing to me. And then it's funny, because then the kids in class, I haven't seen, I don't know their actual ages, I've only seen pictures. The kids in class look like they're all, like, in their 20s.
Right.
Like, they have that weird, like, we're all children look about them. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? We're all teenagers here.
That's
just
usually what happens.
Right. But here it was really funny because it's just like, I don't know what age she was supposed to be in the show, but she did look 12. Anyway,
but
let's,
we'll get to that episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's start with the first two, which reintroduce Davros and the Daleks. It's funny. And I was going to say my only complaint, but then I realized I was about to say my only complaint with Moffat's Doctor Who, and I laughed really hard. Like, my only fucking complaint? How much of a fucking asshole would I be if I said, my only complaint about Moffat after this entire podcast, like after all these podcasts for Doctor Who Wednesdays, and I said, my only complaint. Like, wouldn't that make me a dick, Tristan? You can be honest.
It's okay. You're not the only one.
Okay. No, but what I'm saying is one complaint that I have, and I don't think this is his fault. It's just, it kind of just happened. When he reintroduced the Daleks with 11 back in, God, this is like, series 6, right?
Right.
6? Yeah, 6. Yeah? Yeah.
The
or no, 5.
Rangers?
Yes, no, it was series 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Amy and Rory, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, first Amy and Rory, series 5. My whole thing is, when they were introduced that way, it kind of felt like this rebirth, like, yes, we're going to get the fucking crazy-ass multicolored Daleks the way they used to be. And then they kind of just went poof. And we've seen them throughout the series, of course. I mean, we've seen them a bunch of different times. We've seen Dalek Asylums. We've seen, stalks here and there. Obviously, we saw them, here. But, like, for some odd reason, I don't know, to me anyway, it felt like it was like Moffat wanted to introduce something new, and it was like, yeah, it's going to be so great and cool. And then, poof, it just felt like they went away unless there was a big event.
Yeah.
Which was kind of sad because, I don't know, maybe he wanted to do more with them. I don't know, maybe the reception didn't go over well. Maybe, I don't know what happened there. But when, literally at this point, that was in 2010 when Series 5 came out. And this, Series 9 came out 4 years later. In that 4-year span, which, my God, when you think of it, it sounds so short, yet so much happened, I think, in our lives, and I'm sure in many of the people's, listening at home in their lives in those 4 years. But yeah, throughout 4 years, you're just like, oh man, 4 to 5 years, you're like, oh, so what's going to happen with these Daleks? And it's kind of sad, like little bits here and there. They didn't really have that rejuvenation that they actually had right, in canon.
So wait, let me get this straight. I think what Matt Marrera has just said was that he was sad that the Daleks in the Doctor Who universe didn't get their revival, the masters of destroying everything in their path.
No, they did get their revival in canon. Then they just kind of poofed away. That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to show the Doctor destroying them. Like, that's what I'm saying. I want to see more Daleks dying.
You would
because
make
if we don't
a good
have
Dalek.
Well, if we don't have Daleks dying on screen, we have to assume that they're enslaving people across the galaxy.
This is true.
Yeah, and other than that one, race that we know of that likes to be enslaved, which got really creepy.
Oh, God.
Or sexy, depending on your interpretation. But it got really...
It got something.
He was literally... Well, no, the exact quote was, "I have equipment that you can oppress me with," and I was like,
yes.
Oh.
It was something. We'll put it that way. It got really something.
Yeah.
Not sure what, but it got really something.
50 Shades of Who. So
I can't believe
it's just hey, there could be 50 regenerations. You don't know. We don't know them all.
Please
anyway,
stop.
I will.
It hurts.
I'll stop. You're gonna regenerate on me. Anyway,
I might.
But let's be honest here, right? So yeah, it felt weird that the Daleks haven't been around as much, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we just bring back Davros. Which it's been a while, Davros. How you doing?
I'm
right?
dying.
You seem, right.
Oh,
you seem pretty. It's interesting because while I wanted a moment where we could see, like, the inside of, like, and not like inside of a Dalek, but like the inner turmoil of a villain who's dying, in some way, and I think you and I've said this on the show, you and I both have over a bunch of different shows, in some ways it feels good to just have a character that's inherently evil. Because, you and I watch a lot of different media. We don't podcast on all of it. It might seem like we do with all the podcasts that we have going. But we don't podcast on all of it. But with what we do watch, a lot of newer stuff has, these villains that you end up seeing this lighter side to them, or even vice versa now. You see a lot of darkness in the Doctor. And after a while, you're just like, I just want good guys versus bad guys. Like, after a while, there's some stuff that you just want bad guys to be bad, right? Like,
right.
Missy seems to have some turmoil, but mostly pure fucking evil, or at least pure batshit, right? So that's good. You can like her.
I haven't turned good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
You can like her in some ways, right? You can like her in ways that you're supposed to hate her for. You know what I'm saying? Like for her charisma and her energy. But at the same time, you hate her because she just kills people indiscriminately and literally says, "I'm pretty sure he had a wife and kid," and it's like, "Oh, fuck you." Right?
Well,
fuck
you. It seems she's only really doing, like, she only calls Clara and says, "Look, I need your help. We got to find him," because Missy's, the master, Missy, she's like, "Nah, you know what? First and foremost, he's my friend. You try and kill each other all the time. Yeah? So what? We have a lot of different ways to have friendships on Gallifrey. You don't know me." I'm pretty sure that I did. Do you want me to vaporize someone else? All right, fuck it.
No,
fine. Let's
just
get
love
this over with.
But I mean,
my point
mentality.
was that she's doing this for selfish reasons. She explicitly says, "No, I haven't gone good. I don't want to save, quote unquote, save the Doctor. Yes, I want to save him because he's my friend, but it's so we can also continue our eternal rivalry throughout time and space because." Traps are how I flirt. I know it's trap when I see one. It's how I flirt.
Yeah, it's very interesting, right? So I loved it because, it's just this idea of, but also just the concept of, you don't know me. You know what I do in my spare time.
Yeah,
like, how can you call this a friendship? You don't know me. But so it was just nice, though, jumping back to Davros, to just have a character who's just pure evil, but there are certain concepts that are there that it's nice that the Doctor was able to drop in, like with always mercy and stuff like that. Right? Certain little things here and there that were nice. The only thing that I don't like, and this is something that's not a Moffat trait, it's just going on with the show itself. I'm sure it happened through series 1 and 4 as well, but I just can't recall. So, like, too many or any, rather, but I'm sure it happened. But it's just something that's been going on with Series 5 to 9 that I really don't enjoy. I don't enjoy that for a show that says, hey, and also at some points they've even done time travel differently. So basically, look, right, the way, I don't want to say like, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to say the way time travel should work, because that's silly, right? Like, we don't do time travel as far as we know. But the way time travel should work, right, it's kind of like, okay, Tristan, if, you know, there's something that you think is on your desk, but it's not on your desk, right? It should be there 1 minute and then be gone the next, because let's say if I came in as a time traveler and took it. But it shouldn't be, oh man, it was there the whole time, but then he took it and he rewrote it, like in real time. Do you know what I mean? Like, it should be that it always wasn't there. I probably like butchered the explanation, but you see what I'm getting at, right? Like, the thing should always be changed. It shouldn't be, oh man, that's crazy that this wasn't part of the timeline until the doctor did it 20 minutes from now. Like, it should always have been part of the timeline. Do you understand what I'm saying or no?
Yeah.
Like,
so
yeah,
what
kind
in
of
the, like, what in the episodes are you referencing though?
Specifically, oh my goodness, the doctor's a ghost. He should have always been a fucking ghost.
Oh.
Yes, he did it in the moment, but
Yeah.
if he did it years ago in the 80s, he should have always been a ghost. Same thing with Hufan McBadass. I can't remember her name, but she was the one that was basically used to work. Yeah, Osgood? Was that her name?
Yeah. Yes.
That's interesting.
Because Clara
I'm pretty
Oswald and this girl is Osgood, I believe.
Wasn't Oswald once called Osgood? Like, wasn't that like one of her random personas? I thought it
when
was.
she
I'm
was
probably
split
wrong.
across all time
Yes.
and space.
Yeah.
It might have been.
Yeah, I thought that was
I
her
don't
in the
remember.
Dalek.
It's been a while.
I thought it was Osgood. But anyway,
Possible.
still. Maybe. But it has been a while, you're right. So anyway, yeah, that's my problem. And I know it happened elsewhere, but just this concept of, even him making, when he made, Ashilda, right? I say made because he put the technology into her, and then she
Right.
became immortal. Technically, he didn't make Ashilda, he made me, right, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But still, the point is that when he made her immortal, just the idea that she's like, oh, I'll always be around. It's just like, why hasn't she always been around? Like, I like when shows, especially during seasons, do little hints. Now, granted, they showed her in episode 4, in episodes 5 and 6. So, and in 2 and 3 and 4, they were not actually on Earth technically.
Right.
They were in the 80s, but they weren't like on Earth. But like, I think it would be really cool if, which I don't know if they're going to do this in the second half or something. They show bits of her, let's say, being somewhere in the first episode or somewhere in the 80s, let's say. Just even if it's just like randomly in the background. And I only bring this up because like it's just crazy to like make a new character, then say she's going to be around forever, and then make you sit back and go, really? So she just magically never interacted with any other doctor other than 12? Cool.
Right.
Like, I'm not a big fan of when the show does that, and it's done it a few times, in recent memory. I really want to put it out there. I'm sure they did in series 1 to 4, but I really just can't recall. So I'm not trying to blame Moffat directly. I'm just saying that I don't like when certain things happen, and then it's just like, oh yeah, don't worry, it's happening now, and it's like, but it always had been. This is time. This isn't.
Right.
Yeah, like especially in some
I think
cases.
it's kind of one of those liberties that the show itself takes to say, oh, she's there in the background. You've just, you don't notice her because they go around all over the place between, time and space. And it's like, you assume that she's there. But,
fair enough,
though you don't get to see her. But, yeah,
yes.
It's kind of like when you do that so often throughout the series for various different things or characters, it's kind of like, all right, well, it'd be nice if you kind of, if you're planning to do that, maybe sprinkle them in here and there, like how they did with Bad Wolf. Like, once you have the realization that, oh shit, it's Rose that sends it back throughout all of time and space. It's like when you go back and watch those episodes, you fucking see it.
And that's something that I miss. Now, I'm not saying that, and no pun intended here, I'm being serious. I'm not saying that when they sprinkled Missy stuff around that it wasn't cool, but it wasn't like that seasonal thing where you're like, oh shit, this is the new thing. Like, granted, I'm not saying I wanted to not have that follow-up with Ashilda the next episode, but I will admit that if you had her sprinkled around and then waited a little bit, it may have been cooler.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's very worth it to have the Doctor do something and then immediately have to, at least immediately to us, have to reflect on what he's done.
Yeah.
Because that's something we don't always see, where he changes something that he either thinks is for the good or he might have some, think there might be some repercussions, but he does it, then he zooms off, and then we never see them again. And just assume that, and then there were no more wars, and everyone was happy. Right? No, it's true. So I'm really happy that they did kind of have him deal with what he had done. But yeah, that was my one comment. Because the thing is, you can say that about Ashilda, cool. But obviously, let's be real here. If you want to defend it, you can. But let's be real. It's very hard to say that about Ghost Doctor.
Yeah, I feel like that was just more for shock value than anything else.
Of course. Oh no, believe me, the ratings, I'm sure, were great. Right? I'm sure the ratings, when you sit there and you think about the fact that, obviously it's aired weekly, we're marathoning it, trying to catch up, but when it's aired weekly, I'm pretty sure I was I don't know if I was behind at that point or not. I think I was, and when I first watched it, and I was happy, because I was like, I'm behind, so now I can just watch the next one. But even I was like, what? That was, and there was a little bit of a this is bullshit kind of air to it, because I think an episode that says, i.e., quote unquote, the Doctor's died, right? You either have to make that the first, episode of the series, slash season, or the last. I think it feels really weird to make a really big two-parter with Davros and the Daleks and everything, and then after that be like, oh, and by the way, just as a small little follow-up, the Doctor died. To me, I'm like, you want. But, the Doctor dying, in my opinion, usurps anything with Davros. As much as I love Davros, and the Daleks, of course, are huge. And, of course, Missy was there, too. So there's so much going on there, right? And I'm not saying it shouldn't have been the first two-parter. I'm just saying that when in an episode that you're like, by the way, the Doctor died.
Yeah.
You sit there and you're like, wait, this is not the opener? What the fuck?
Right.
Yeah,
and it's not an ender either. To even because if it's the ending one and they tease that idea, it's like, okay, so this is gonna be big. It's a finale. So obviously, maybe it's teasing at this incarnation of the Doctor dies because he's regenerating, but it's not the Doctor's not gone. You're not killing off the character that basically changes throughout and keeps the whole series running. It's no.
Oh, God, I remember. Funny story. I think I remember when I watched it, I was like, they've been teasing Clara as the Doctor. Fuck it. All right. I'm here. I'm on my couch. Is this what we're going to do for the rest of the show? Just Clara as the Doctor for a couple episodes? Whatever. At one point in my life, I was like, it feels like they do it. They've been pushing her as basically the fucking Doctor for so many episodes, on and off, and it was just me sitting there like, well, they finally did it. Clara's the Doctor.
Yeah, I guess I kind of had that idea too. So then Clara's gonna pick up the slack, I'm guessing, to save the rest of these people in this military
and then
base
it was like,
mining complex.
And then it was like, nah, we'll just let the Doctor do it again. It was like, really? We can't let Gohan? No, give it to Goku. But really, though, you're looking at Clara and you're like, well, even if we're putting aside my joke about her becoming the new Doctor, it's like, well, you know what? She's competent. Let's let her do this. And then all of a sudden, nah, Doctor's going to talk to ghostly him.
Yeah.
But
it's okay. I've got this under control. I don't need you to do jack shit. All right.
Thanks. Literally, literally, Doctor's like, I can do it on my own, thanks. Looks at the Apple phone. Maybe you should thank Steve Jobs. What was that, Clara? Nothing. Like, literally, it was through, essentially, Skype that he did it. Or through some other service.
Yeah.
Or, through the TARDIS, probably. Just TARDIS has its own internal, video messaging service. But anyway, so my question to you is, and I know we should focus more on the first two-parter, but I really, since we're on this second one, I want to ask you, do you think it was stretched out a bit too much? Because even though I didn't hate the second part, I really did like it. And also, I would like to add that, Moffat was talking for a long time about, I believe he was, about how he wanted more two-parters. And I think the fans were even clamoring for them as well, because two-parters with Davies were pretty damn good, right? So we didn't want things to be rushed. We wanted more two-parters, not only two-part endings and openings, but just openers, but just general two-parters in general, right? But I think that this two-parter, I think it was stretched out a little bit, where to me it felt like it could have been solved in one episode.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy you agree. You could have disagreed, but I'm happy you agree.
No, I do feel like that too, because it was funny. I enjoyed it at the first half of the episode. I enjoyed it because it did remind me of, a few other episodes. It really reminded me of The Pit with Penn.
Mm-hmm.
And even the same idea. Yeah. Not the same idea, but similar situation. Doctor and companion find themselves on, some kind of, human operation somewhere in the galaxy, and they're trying to figure out what's going on because obviously things aren't going the way anyone actually planned. And, hilarity and devastation ensue. But, yeah, this one felt a bit you could have just solved this in one episode and we would have been good. Because it just got the idea of him going back, and it's like, oh, I can't save you here. I have to go back and figure out what happened in the first place to then stop it from ever happening in the first place. It's like, okay, now we're getting a little, all right. It just seemed to get a little too much, I don't want to say convoluted, but in a sense it's kind of getting a little convoluted at that point.
No, that's a great point. Convoluted is actually the best word to use at this point because it just gets it wraps itself up too much. They get wrapped up in time too much. Now, here's something really funny, though. We were hilarity and devastation ensue. And I don't know, I just imagined he was our friend, and then the cue cards.
Yeah, oh my God, the cards. That was beautiful. I mean, it was horrible, but beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, no, I have to say, right, there are some things about this Doctor, the way they wrote him in these 6 episodes, that I didn't enjoy. And the reason why is because for both the Doctor and Clara, I felt like the way they wrote the both of them, they could have been, in a way, 2 different Doctors and companions.
Yeah.
I think the idea is, at least for the Doctor, it's Doctor's trying to break out of his shell. Right? But for me, I don't know. I feel like just with all the things that they've done, like you mentioned, it's nice that they transitioned Clara into something different. Now she doesn't feel as attached to the Doctor in terms of, being completely around his story. And she doesn't seem as, I think you were saying that she just seems different, in a good way. Now she feels like she's kind of shed that, I saved the Doctor's skin, and she's become her own character. You mentioned that during the last 2 podcasts that we did, where we kind of did the end of Series 8, and we did the Christmas special, right?
Right.
But I said, which I think it still holds true with these 6 episodes, if not even more so, it feels like we're dealing with a different character entirely in some ways. And yes, they wouldn't have that whole, I can't lose you, because it would be with a new person, so that obviously would be you couldn't just replicate that. But minus that aspect, the Doctor still cares about anyone he brings on. Even though he wouldn't be able to say it to that level, still, if he was with someone new, he wouldn't be like, I don't fucking care. No, he has a duty of care.
Yeah.
Right? So just this idea that, it kind of felt like in a way, at least with Clara, it's like if you would have replaced her with a different person, you'd be like, yeah, it's a new character. Cool. Also, with the episodes that she's not in, where she wasn't in, even though it was only one episode that she wasn't in, but like after a while, you're kind of just like, well, she's not in this episode, or barely in this one, or whatever, yada yada. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember the second half of this series. Series. So I don't remember what happens in the second half of Series 9, so I don't remember if she's going to be in some episodes and if she's not. But as of right now, even her not being in one episode, it's good to do that after a while. But I don't know, man. I start to think, like, I wish we could have had Capaldi just traveling on his own for at least one or two. Not like, one series or a half a series. It'd be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice where he was on his own when he meets up with me again.
Yeah. So I was really happy with that. One thing, too, that I, found a little, I don't know, I guess confusing is out of nowhere, and I guess that's just their way of having a big series opener, out of nowhere, just the Doctor being like, I'm going to die, and because I'm going to die, I'm going to be more selfish than 10. And I'm just going to fuck with history. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, again, it felt a little bit, like I like that 12 is breaking out of his shell, and I love the guitar, so I wanted that to be included, obviously.
Right.
Like I'm going to be real with you. Anyone shitting on the guitar, it's like, sorry, man, like I can't agree with you. I love the guitar.
There needs to be more of that. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, that's
especially
for something that Peter Capaldi can just uniquely bring to the character of the Doctor himself because he plays, and he is fucking awesome at it. God damn it.
Yeah, he was in a band. He was in a band with Craig Ferguson.
Yes.
Back in the day, yeah. And it's really funny because Craig Ferguson, also Scottish, was like, I'm going to try out to be Doctor Who, too. And obviously that didn't work. But I really would have enjoyed Ferguson as the only reason why I feel like, which was really funny. I was going to say, maybe it's because of all the cursing that he's done. And then I remembered the series that Capaldi was in. He played a character named Malcolm. I forgot the name of the show right now. But he curses so fucking much. Have you seen those clips, Tristan?
I think I have. At one point,
it's hilarious. He would just be like, how about you stick your hand so far up your ass that I can work you like a puppet, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll actually be able to speak like a normal human being. But until then, get the fuck out of my office. Get the fuck out of the UK.
And
like, he would just say shit like that all the time.
The funny part is, I could totally see 12 doing that, too.
I think that's why they picked him, because even though he's going to be cursing a lot less, he still had that air about him, the curmudgeon old man.
Yes.
Oh. It's great. But anywho, I don't know, man. Like, I feel really and the reason why I say, like, more selfish than 10. Like, sorry for everyone who loves 10. I do, too. But I just feel really weird about him delaying his quote-unquote death, his regeneration, to the point where he was like, I don't want to go. And it's just like, there's going to be another one of you. I'm not saying you like it, but there's always another one of you. Like, I'm not saying a Doctor wants to go, but it got to the point where it was just like, it was too much for me.
It's still different. It's not him, quote-unquote. It is another reiteration of his person. Yes, he still remembers who he was, but he's still a different person, quote-unquote, the next one that comes down the line.
No, I get it. Believe me, I do. It just feels like, again, I'm not going to harp on this because we're not talking about that moment, but it just feels like, and I think I mentioned on the show before too, but it just felt like it was a bit too much, right? Here, I feel the exact same way, where Doc 12 is like, I'm going to die. So let me, even though I love the outlandishness of it, but it was still like, let me bring a tank to the 1700s with a guitar, introduce dude to the English language years before it was ever, invented, and just generally make them think that I'm some wizard. And I don't know, to me it's just like, dude, I don't know why that, dude, like, Doctor, this isn't you. I don't know, like, to me it felt like in many ways in these 6 episodes, it was like, I kind of stepped back and I was like, would the Doctor do this? And I don't know if I like that so much. Not even the things that make me are supposed to actually make me question him, like, would the Doctor kill a kid and stuff like that. Not even those stuff. The ones that they wanted me to question, right? Just the stuff that I think to them, they were like, no, that's what the Doctor does. Like, the Doctor saves people by making them immortal. Like, Jack was a happy accident.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
At the very end of that, when he gets aboard the TARDIS and she's like, "Yeah, you saved her," he's like, "Did I? Did I really?" He's like, "I got emotional. I got angry." It was basically the Doctor flipping off time and space, saying, you know, I can do what I want, and it never really works out the way he intends it to. It's the line of, you know, the worst things happen from the best intentions. And he even says to me after he sees, like, all the suffering that she's gone through, he's like, all I wanted to do was save, you know, the frightened little girl that I thought was scared of dying. And I did, but I also turned her into something else in the process. Not completely, but
I know.
She has changed.
It's also weird that, like, the Doctor that can sit there and be like, I reworked it completely so it works for humans instead of those aliens. That's really cool. Yeah. So what about her lifespan? Oh, she's immortal. You really couldn't fucking fix that? No, I just couldn't. Like, I'm sitting around and I'm like, you're the Doctor, though. Like, they build you up so much. They being, you know, the right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, it's kind of crazy for it to just be like, this is alien technology that was able to rework. You have nothing else on your ship that can. I'm sure he probably deleted it from his memory, but you have nothing else on your ship. Like, just the fact that he was just like, I quickly reworked this. Like, she's already dead. If she was dying, then I'd get it. If she was dying, I'd be like, oh, my God, she's dying. Quickly, get her something. And then I'd be like, well, you know what? He had to improvise. But she was dead.
Right.
Like, what's going to happen if you wait a day? It's going to fix her up anyway. So I don't want to – it's because I'm going to seem creepy here, so I'm sorry. She could be rotting, and it would still fix her up from the inside out.
Yeah.
So in my head, it's just like –
weird.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not saying show her rotting corpse on television. What I'm saying is...
No. I mean more of the concept of death kind of idea. It's like, it always felt from, I don't know. Like, watching other series, it's kind of, there's an important line for things, you know, things where people dying. It's like, once they are dead, like, yeah, you could fix up their body, but they're no longer... I guess if you want to, there's nothing, the spark of life in that body is gone.
But it was gone.
Here, right, exactly. Here it's kind of a different story. So it death is kind of weird for me in Doctor Who.
Well, technically, yeah, because they try to bring up souls every once in a while, but for the most part, it seems as if, the idea is, because remember, they're technically, at least as far as the show is concerned, at this point anyway, in this incarnation, because I can't tell you much about pre-2005, right? But in this incarnation, heaven or hell isn't really discussed. That was just Wi-Fi, right? Taking people's brains. No, that's really what it was. Right. That was Wi-Fi. That was taking people's brains and uploading them into, like, a server. That's all it really was. It was essentially, like the guy said, like the AI said, a cloud run by Missy. Yes.
Right.
So that was that, right? The ghosts, quote unquote, were essentially either, if you want to use the word spirits. That's the only interesting thing, because I believe that writer was new, and he wasn't a bad writer, but he introduced some concepts that you don't really have in this incarnation that I kind of wish were tweaked, where instead of their souls, it was their brain waves or something like that.
Yeah, it was an electromagnetic kind of projection of their psyche in a way.
Mm-hmm. Which is cool, but the Doctor used the word soul, and I guess they were trying to simplify, but I was like, that's a loaded word, Doctor.
Right, yeah. Especially for you.
Yes.
The guy who goes, ghosts don't exist, and then turns around and is like, I'd never actually met a proper ghost before, so of course I would say they don't exist, but now it's like, well, what else are you going to call them? It's like,
well, that
right.
I liked. I liked because that I liked because it's the idea of, look, I'm a scientist. I have to keep my mind open. I can't be – like, I have to keep my mind open to do things. So I love that. Like, always question yourself. Always ask questions. Question. So I loved that a lot because he was like, look, I've never seen one, so as far as I'm concerned, they don't exist. But apparently they do, so fuck it. They might exist. I enjoyed that. Right. What I didn't enjoy is later on when he's talking to the Fisher King, and he's like, souls. And I was like, Doctor, you just said all the sciencey stuff, and then you said soul.
Yeah.
Which one is so? Yeah, but all jokes aside, right? The point is that, you know, when it when it came to that, right? I just when it comes to the Doctor in these 6 parts, right? In these 6 episodes, it felt like it was different, like not different Doctors overall 6, but it felt like a different Doctor than we've seen. And in some ways I liked it, in some ways, again, I did not. So I really didn't enjoy him thinking, well, I'm going to die. So that means that I'm going to fuck up time and space. And then, oh, I'm not dead? Oh, thank goodness. And then, in episode 5, what if I cause tidal waves? You fucking introduced, dude, a tank and a fucking guitar, and now you're worried about tidal waves?
I mean, he also introduced, banana daiquiri a few centuries earlier in previous incarnation before too. So
that reminded me. Yeah, thank you. I love that. That was like one of the. You know what I love? That was one of the random 5-minute clips that they did in between one of the series, where he mentioned introducing pasta to Genghis Khan.
Right.
That was one of the YouTube clips that they did.
Oh, okay. So it's weird. I'm not sure. I don't think I saw those little clips, actually.
Huh. Pretty sure that's where he mentioned the banana daiquiri. But, anyway.
No, that was in an episode with 10. That was the girl in the fireplace.
Oh, whoops. Oh, right. That I remember. Okay. Another Moffat one. There. Hey, look at you. But it is. It was.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's true.
But yeah, by the way, another thing, just speaking of this first 2-parter with Moffat, he has an interesting fascination with eyes. I don't know if you've noticed this throughout the show, throughout his episodes, but he has an interesting fascination with eyes, because either with the Weeping Angels, who you can't look at, or just showing eyes at random points, right? Even, look at the eyes here on the hands. I remember in that one episode, if you remember, with the boy who was scared, with the dolls that came to life. That was a while ago.
Right.
There were like there was some.
That was 11.
Yeah, it was like that was 11. Yes, in like in the dollhouse in the room.
Yeah, in the kid's closet. Yeah. Right.
There were some eyes in some toy chests out of nowhere that just kind of disappeared. Yes. There was a lot of, or just the fact that, having the, I don't know, just in general, like, I don't want to put, like, eyes on everything and be like, he has a strange fascination. The Doctor has eyes. Like, no, but, seriously, though, I don't want to do that, right? But it's very interesting if you see throughout his work in Doctor Who how he really enjoys, I guess, showing eyes. But it's very interesting. Another thing I want to mention is,
there is a lot of power you can put behind eyes, and a lot of different meanings that you can put behind them as well. So,
very, very true, very true. One thing interesting as well, and I know you saw the special where Moffat kind of poked fun at Doctor Who. They did it for Red Nose Day years ago. I think it was in the 90s or early 2000s, where Mr. Bean was the Doctor. Do you remember this?
I've heard people talking about it. I haven't actually seen it myself, but...
Oh, I'm going to fucking send you that link, and let me explain why, everyone. Because at one point, the Doctor becomes a woman, and it's very interesting, regenerates into a woman, and it's very interesting because, I only bring it up because if you literally look at this, parody, you can just map out so many moments that you're like, so Moffat did that here, Moffat did it there. Now, the Doctor didn't become a woman, but Missy did. So it's very interesting that you're sitting around like, oh, also, he made fun of the Dalek bumps, and then Missy did too, where she was just like, you'd know about that, and then rubs the
right. Oh, this is the dog's unmentionables, but you'd know all about that, wouldn't you? And she's just tickling the orbs on the outside of the Dalek tank. Yeah. Oh, my God, I died. I nearly fell out of my chair.
It was very interesting. Yeah. But, I was kind of surprised they did that. But I shouldn't have been, but I was. Anyway, what I was surprised about is how Missy actually didn't kill Clara, but then I realized, as the 2-parter went on, that she would find it much more fitting if the Doctor did.
Oh, yeah, because she knows it would completely fuck with his mind.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Which is
it's
what she's looking for in the first place.
Yeah, horrifically brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, man.
And that's one thing I would want to say about like this batch of episodes from 1 to 6. I enjoyed them all, but I'd have to say I liked 1 and 2 and 5 and 6 more than I did 3 and 4.
Yes, I would like to say
overall.
that despite all of my complaints, I love all of the outlines. Like, I love every concept, right? Like the idea of, let's be, like you said, let's be in like a futuristic, humanoid, like on Earth, but futuristic random subterranean base, and then just be like, hey, there's ghosts. How do we just, how do we rationalize this? That's fucking cool to me, right? Also, they only come out at night. They start fucking with the equipment to make it quote unquote nighttime so they can come out.
Yeah.
That's really cool to me, right? And then also there's these strange markings. And whoever didn't read the markings don't get hurt. What? Right? That was really cool to me. Bringing back the Daleks, right? Like I said, I wanted more of them. We always want them at least one series, right? Even though series are short, still, having them show up at least once per series, I think it's nice, even if it's just a small cameo, right? Like, because, they don't come out weekly anymore, right? They do, but obviously, you'll take a year-long break, and then sometimes you'll take more than a year-long break. So, yeah, I'm cool with the Daleks, especially reintroducing Davros, because Davros is just such an interesting character. And I love they gave him some more depth, too, because that was a lot of fun as well, right? So those are things that I like. I love the idea of, aliens pretending to be gods, because the Doctor has done it, and apparently so have other aliens. So the Valhalla thing was just hilarious to me, in a way. I mean, it sucks that they all died, but like just the idea, the concept of, I'm Odin. No, you're not. Have you really ever seen Odin? I am Odin. What? Yeah.
Like,
so that was hilarious.
You're an old man on the ground with a yo-yo. That's, the big tough-looking dude up in the clouds. It's like, and what makes you think he didn't lie, too? He's like, what do you know, false Odin? Yes, you're right. I am false. I lied. But what do you think he did? He lied to you, too. And you know what? You know he did. And I love the fact that 12 kind of turns it around. It's like, don't give me the shit that, that, oh, no, he's the actual one. It's like, and why do you think it's a lie? Why, don't take my word for it. Why do you think it's a lie? Because I know you do. It's like, because gods never show themselves.
That's what I love. He didn't necessarily try to say God isn't or gods aren't real.
Right.
He just said, what's the one thing that they
don't do?
No.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, regardless of, you're not going to get into that debate on Doctor Who, which I like that they found a nice way to skirt around it. They were just like,
it's like, that's up to you entirely.
Yeah, but they don't
do not
show up.
Show themselves.
Now, some people might, say some shit about Christianity, like, hold on, and it's like, hey, hold my water that will turn into wine. Hold on. All right? Instead of hold my beer. Listen.
Yes.
All right? It wasn't God. It was Jesus, who's a part of God, and we're not talking about that right now. But
anyway,
like that's the whole thing. Like, the whole thing is that like gods that are supposed to now be in the sky, right, are not showing up saying hello. That's the point. You know, that is the point. So very interesting. Like, so that's why I really like that concept. And the concept of them coming down. I enjoy the whole like ragtag group of people fights the big bad aliens, but thankfully, even though it's been kind of convenient in a sort of bad way, but I still enjoy the fact that over those last two-parters, even in the first two-parter, right, the Doctor skirted around the rules, but in a way that still made everything work out. So I enjoy, like, in other words, the thought is, I can't save them, because if I save them, it's a very good idea of like, they'll come back not only for revenge, but anyone will be like, wow, that planet Earth it's the same thing in like, we mentioned Dragon Ball Z a lot on the show, but because we love it. But like, that's another thing too. It's like people say, would some of the villains had come to Earth if Goku didn't go into space, beat them up, and then they learned, oh shit, he's from Earth.
Right.
We talk about the fact that I'm sure Frieza would have came eventually, but would he have came as Mecha? No. Right? Would Raditz have came? No. Vegeta? No. Nappa? No. So you sit there and you're like, I mean, again, you can discuss all the other intricacies, but still, the point is that, you know, the demonic presences that were on Earth, but still, the point is that they wouldn't have showed, right?
Right.
So that's that. So here, it's like, oh, you know, I can't do this because if I do this, then other beings will show up to Earth. But then he films that video for Galactic Tube, and it's just like, will we? Should we? You know, are we going to air this? If you don't want us to air it, that's cool. Then don't show up again. And it was like, fuck, that's perfect, because they're not going to want to tell anyone that because they still want to go around the galaxy saying we're so cool, right? So they're not going to tell anyone. Why would they tell anyone this? Perfect.
Yeah, it's the
right?
story.
Easy way to wrap
it's
that
the
up.
reputation of your army that precedes. It's, you know, not everyone in the galaxy has ever seen you because you either A, kill them, or, you know, B, you know, you just don't get around everybody. It's a large universe. But the story still spread. And that's the other
and then
the other idea. You have to leave some alive to be able to tell the story of, oh, these guys, you know, this guy raided us and took our strongest warriors and killed them all. It's like you still need, you know, a way of mouth to reiterate that to other peoples as well.
Yes. Also, another thing, right? Another thing that, you know, in the Ghost episode, even though again it seems convenient, right? It's still the idea that, oh, you know, I'm a ghost. Actually, I'm not. Just like I showed you in the last episode with Clara, I can make holograms. Totally just made it a hologram. Whatevs. And you're like, all right, it's convenient, but again, it still works with him not. Like, the plot never changed. They assumed he was a ghost. He was always just a hologram. And again, I know you don't like it. I'm not saying I do either. I'm just saying that, well, to be fair, I like him saying, I like it a lot when he says, but I never had the idea until I saw it. But then when I saw it, I did it. Which, like, I love those paradoxes. I love those paradoxes so fucking much. And I know people sitting at home, I'm sure they're like, we hate them. And I'm sorry, I love them. Just, you know, like in Time Crash, when 10 met 5. And it was just like, oh, I saw you doing it, which made me know to do it. He's like, but then I saw you doing it, which made me know how to do it. Like, I love that, those paradoxes so fucking much. And I feel bad because I know people that, like, I despise them. But I really like them. So that I like. But yes, I understand you're grown because it was very convenient that it was just like, we all thought he was a ghost, but it was really a hologram. Like, it's more of a silly twist that happens in Shyamalan movies that we don't like.
Right.
Yeah. But I still like that was a way of getting around it without fucking up the timeline. Because obviously, if he really was dead, that would have fucked up the timeline so much.
Right. It's like we already rebooted the universe once already. Let's try and dial back on that.
We can't do it in the third episode of a series. Like, again, the opener or closer here, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, when we talk about the first two-parter, I really enjoyed, even though, again, it seemed like a bullshit twist, but it's something that seems very much like Doctor Who-esque. I enjoyed the whole, I reversed their energy to charge my teleportation device. Like, it seemed a little bullshitty, but I don't know. Or at least I enjoyed the fact they went in and explained it with, like, a whole scene that they filmed. Because if they didn't do that, I think it would have been a bullshit explanation.
Yeah, I enjoyed, like, because the dynamic of Missy and Clara kind of working together and talking and trying to be quote-unquote friendly with one another is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was a little less, I don't know, I guess bullshit, because they actually took the time to tell you how it worked, and it, like you said, it does seem a little bit more like, you know, sci-fi and Doctor Who, that he would be able to, in a way, use the energy from the weapons to then recharge the teleporter, which works on the same energy pattern, you know, to then escape being annihilated. Like,
yes.
I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It's a little bit, but it's a lot less than...
It annoys, like, I think I would have liked it more if it wasn't, you know, Missy gets vaporized, and then, Clara gets vaporized. Now, technically with Missy, she's already done this once before, and it's the idea of like, well, you were vaporized once already. How the hell did you escape that? We're never going to go back to that? No? All right, fine. And then they actually do go back to it, and she's like, how the hell do you think I did it? And it's like, all right. But for me, what I think I would have enjoyed is if it was the situation where instead of going for the shock value, now I know they had to do it to get the doctor to be like, to show Clara, to have Missy be able to show Clara, like, look, this is what the doctor's like without hope. Like when he thinks he's lost his companion or that someone he cares about is dead, he gets just like me. Not from the same motivations, obviously, but it's like, and means to an end. It's like he's willing to let everything burn, just like I do when I like to have fun. He does it out of revenge. So we're not that different. But what I would have liked is instead of like, oh no, they've been vaporized, kind of that I don't know, that tense moment of, I might be able to get us out of this situation, but I got to do this right, and I got to do it right now. So if like, I don't know, I guess if Missy wouldn't exactly do that. She's of course going to go for the, oh, I did it, but you don't know how I did it. So it would be better if like the doctor was running in to say if the doctor was with Clara when that happened, and he was like, look, they're all going to fire at us in about a few seconds, stall for me, give me a little bit of time, I can rework this thing to then take the energy, and like when they did in the flashback, he would do the pose with the screwdriver and everything, and they get teleported, and Clara would turn around, what the hell did you just do? I rerouted the energy, explaining it like
you wanted
in the moment.
To explain it. Right.
Yeah, and like seeing it happen on screen, but also him kind of hinting is like how this is going to work. Instead of them, it's like, no, they're dead, but don't worry, we're going to explain why they're not dead in a few minutes later. And it's like,
so you don't like, so you're not a fan of the shock value because how it immediately the next week or the next day or whenever you watch the episode, the next minute gets devalued.
Right. Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think we should have left a little bit more time of thinking they were dead. Maybe. Just a little bit more. I think that it takes away the shock value a little bit. Just giving it some more time instead of opening the episode with, no, we're alive. Don't worry about it. Because the thing is, I'm not saying, even though I don't like, I don't like your example, but I like your premise, where like, oh, let's not have shock value that immediately gets devalued the second the new episode airs, right? But I would say then it wouldn't get devalued if they kept it going for a little bit longer, because it would make you honestly think that there was an impact there, instead of telling you, oh no, don't worry, they're fine, but the doctor doesn't know. And it's like, really, the doctor in his infinite wisdom just sits there and just goes, well, I guess they were both evaporated. That sucks. I guess I got to go kill this kid. Now, he didn't, but the way that's actually, I think, even worse than that happening and then changing it immediately next week. I think what's even worse is them showing the doctor nearly like ready to shoot a kid and then saying, I'm doing this to exterminate. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I think that was worse.
I'm doing this to save my friend. Exterminate.
Yes. That's worse.
I don't know. That one, it was weird because it's kind of that. I mean, I know an example that I can think of, and I know a lot of people dislike this too. But like the idea of Captain America then suddenly going Hail Hydra, it's like, oh, all right, wait a minute.
Well, yes, but of course the problem is, at least with that, is they haven't turned him back yet, and also, as of right now, you don't know the whole story, Tristan, so that's why I want to inform you, because everyone at home is probably like, wait, what? They're not saying he said Hell Hydra, like, oh my God, they turned him. He apparently was a sleeper agent all along.
Yeah, the whole time.
So it would be like the doctor saying, I was working with the Daleks all along.
Oh, God.
Exterminate.
Like, the doctor takes off a mask, it's Davros underneath. And then Davros takes off a mask, it's the doctor the whole time.
He's in the chair.
Oh,
He's swirling in the
that line was beautiful. He just pulls into the room full of Daleks, and he's like, now be honest with me. You've all had this exact nightmare at one point in your lives. And it was funny because I felt like that was as much for the fans as it was the Daleks. It's like, yeah, Doctor, you know what? You're right. I have had this nightmare, and now it's coming to life. And please stop.
Oh my God. What I felt weird about was, and I mean, I guess this makes sense because, old Daleks don't even respect each other, I guess. But it was still strange. Just like, did you know that in the Dalek language, sewer also means graveyard? Like, it's kind of like when it's like, Superman, why is there that S on your chest? Well, on my planet, it stands for hope. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, what about hope? Do not fucking say that to me. How dare you? It's just, I don't know. So for me, it just, I mean, I know alien language, there's all these translation things, so technically not even speaking Dalek. Right. Technically, they're, I mean, that's the thing. They are speaking Dalek, rather. They're not even speaking English. But still.
Oh, geez. Does that mean the Daleks speak something have their own language, and it's just been the TARDIS translating it the entire time?
Probably, yeah.
Oh shit.
Because remember, I mean, because remember the Dalek. Remember the TARDIS Well, at least at the very least, the Dalek translates them to, because remember, whenever they get in contact with the TARDIS, it immediately, the translation matrix goes in your head, because they eventually had to say that because not every episode are they right next to the TARDIS.
Right, yeah.
So eventually they used the translation matrix is always in your head thing so that's why an episode where they're like, oh, we went on the boat to fucking get here.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like, I don't understand what any of them are saying.
Right.
So yeah.
Although with the Daleks and
bullshit.
getting into their language and everything, I did enjoy the part where, Missy's putting Clara inside the Dalek tank.
Yes.
And saying, you kind of get into the Daleks are actually very emotional. I never really thought of it that way. It's like, bad emotions, hate and destruction and death, that's what they feel all the time, nonstop, forever, as long as they live. But it's the fact that emotion is what makes, their lasers go off. It's what pulls the trigger for them. And I guess, you could say that about people in a way, too. Emotion is what does it. But
yeah,
it was an interesting concept to bring to light. And it's like, oh, that actually makes it that much more horrifying.
Yes.
It's weird how this series can build more and more and just make, the Daleks are horrifying as it is. You think, the first time you see it, it's a walking tin can with a whisker and a laser. It's like, yeah, it's not that scary. But when you get into the actual components of how it works and what it is, it's like, we're just making this thing more horrifying the longer it is in this series, and they always find new and inventive ways of making it even more horrifying.
Yes, the reason why I enjoyed it so much, or the reason why I was a happy Matt, was because of the fact that you sit back and you're like, oh, they're cold tin cans with no emotion. It's like, no. Those are the Cybermen. These fuckers,
right?
They sit back and they have all the emotion in the world. You can't want to sit there and kill an entire race and not feel anything for it. Just like, well, what? Or species, yeah. And not think well, I mean, I guess. Right? Because the Cybermen, they don't want to kill, they want to upgrade. In their mind, they're like, no, we're helping you, we're upgrading you, we're making you us, we're the fucking best. Right? So they don't really have feelings or emotion. They're just like, we need to upgrade so we can amass an army because we are the best. Daleks are like, we don't need any more. We always, even if there's one, that's enough. I'm going to fucking kill you now.
Right.
Because you are not me. You are not us. And that's what is so intriguing. And it's like, again, emotion pulls the trigger. You don't even need to say anything. All you need to do is go hate in your mind.
Yeah.
And immediately it will translate to exterminate.
Right.
Holy crap.
And even love or hope things that aren't in their vocabulary really,
Mhm.
or that they are, but they automatically translate to death. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whew. The one thing I was confused about, though, is when the doctor said, how can you say mercy? I'm pretty sure they've said mercy before.
Probably.
I'm not even talking about, like, pre-2005 Who. I'm talking about, like, when we first met the Daleks again with Eccleston, didn't they say mercy? And he was like, how dare you ask me for mercy?
Yeah, he might have, yes. I'm not sure if he actually specifically said the word mercy, but he may have.
Oh, okay.
When it was when it was quote unquote the last Dalek in existence, it's like he fell out of the Time War and he's being tortured. Yes, help me, please have mercy. Why would I show you mercy when you didn't show any of it to my kind?
See, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I remember that. Cool. But again, I mean, in general, I think, it's probably the first time the doctor had to be like, well, at least in this case, the doctor had to question mercy, not just like, why should I show you mercy? Like, wait a minute, you shouldn't be able to fucking say mercy. Which actually he may have done that time too, except that time Rose wasn't in it. Rose's face wasn't in there.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure he questioned it both times, not just because why should I show you mercy, but just in general, like.
Yeah, I feel like that's an idea that's also been in a lot of New Who. Just the fact that the series itself has been going on for so long now that there are things that the Doctor, like 12, it seems a lot, has to go back so far in time to a point where, it technically, like, changes events later on in the continuity.
I'll say this,
it's
though.
not
I
changing
believe
it because it's technically always been there, like you said. It's technically always been there. We just haven't been brought in on the loop until now when we see it.
I'll give you one thing. I don't remember the first time we saw Davros, but I'm pretty sure that while it was the first time the Doctor met Davros had sort of known of him, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But I believe that it may have not been Davros' first time with the Doctor, and that's what Moffat was expanding on.
Right, yeah.
But it was the first time the Doctor had met Davros.
Right.
And this was the fourth Doctor meeting him. Again, don't quote me because I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the case.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because that's even in Classic Who, too. Because I knew... Like, I've seen an episode of the first Doctor where they're on a planet and there are Daleks, but I don't believe Davros was actually established as a concept yet.
No. When the first Doctor appeared, it was actually, it's funny, they showed up around the time the Daleks were dying. Ha! And I think they met the last of the Daleks. Ha!
Right.
Yeah.
So the series has always kind of jumped around with its where things are introduced and how things are affected when. So it's not like I guess I said before, like, it's kind of a New Who thing. So I guess I would retract that in a sense because it's not. It's been around for a while, but it seems like, I don't know. It seems like they've kind of had to go back, and like you said, he's expanding on the idea. So. It's weird in a sense because it does get really tricky. Like, the further and further you go on with this series, the more you kind of have to tiptoe in between what's been established and what hasn't yet, and generally make it all fit together semi-nicely.
Because now that Moffat has done it, you basically can't have the Doctor ever meet a young Davros again. Otherwise, it's going to be like, okay, so this is like a reboot at this point? Or, like, is he going to have to say, shit, I fuck with the timeline so much that now I have to go see, like, my last meeting doesn't count. I remember it, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, which can actually happen after a while, because the Doctor constantly changes so much. Technically, the world around him is constantly changing.
Yeah.
Every time he saves one person from one calamity, he, in theory, might be causing more that he will then have to save in the future later, or he may have already saved.
Right.
I know it's getting really weird for everyone, but, like, still, I think, you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a point there.
Yeah.
There is one point I wanted to make with young Davros and all that. But first, I'll start it off with asking you, what did you think about the Sonic sunglasses? Because that was actually a big thing in these episodes.
You know what's interesting?
I remember when I first watched it, like, a lot of people were like,
yes.
What the fuck?
So I hated them, but I understood why they existed, but then they were broken, and I hated them further. Let me explain. So, no, here's my thing, right? I don't like them because even if it's not a screwdriver, I don't understand why they had to be those kind of sunglasses. You brought back the 3D glasses, I'm fucking in, right?
Right.
But I don't understand why they had to be those specific kinds of sunglasses. They look just like generic fucking sunglasses. I don't get it. I just don't.
Okay.
Right? However, I understand why they had to be made because in my head I'm like, look, you got to sell merchandise, baby. Right? That screwdriver, even if you give it a new incarnation, it's just the same screwdriver. Got to make something new. Let's make some sunglasses, baby. But then,
it's kind of funny.
By episode 5, in the middle of the show, there's no gap. Like let's say there was a gap between episode 6 and 7 for a couple months. If they broke in 7, I'd be okay. But the show is just going naturally, like it didn't have a gap. And this is in episode 5, and they break. And I'm like, so then they were fucking useless. What, did you sell them for like a month? And then and then you just stopped? Like, all right, we sold that merchandise, whatever. He's going to get the screwdriver back. Who gives a fuck? And I'm like, Matt gives a fuck.
Right.
Why you do this? Also, he went back to see I'm sorry to interrupt. He went back to see the kid. He should have gotten them back. The screwdriver.
Right.
So, how do you feel?
Well, I was going to say I'm not exactly sure how true this is because I don't know if I ever saw Capaldi himself saying it, but there was an idea apparently floating around that Capaldi had wanted his doctor to be easier to cosplay as. Having it be sunglasses kind of made it an easier way to fit it with the costume kind of thing instead of having to buy a screwdriver to then go along with your doctor. But it was an interesting idea. Like I said, I don't know how true that is. But
so I'll admit, if that's what it is and they didn't market Sonic sunglasses, that's cool. I would assume, though, and again, I haven't actually checked online, so maybe I'm wrong, but I assume that there are BBC Sonic sunglasses that make cool sounds.
You know what? I'm going to look at that right now.
I love it. You're like, I'm going to check that shit. Because, I mean, even with Sarah Jane, when Sarah Jane had the Sonic lipstick, I bought that for an ex once. When I was dating her, we both liked Doctor Who, we both liked Sarah Jane. I literally found, and at the time it was actually, it was very hard to find. It was rare, and I got it for $50, and it's Sonic lipstick. And I bet you I'm going to ask her, we're good friends, I'm going to ask her, where is it? She's going to be like, I don't remember. I'm going to be like, how dare you? Because there were $50 for it, and it was really cool. Apparently they stopped being made after a while. I think they were only made for like season 1, and at this point they were at season like 3. But still, yeah. So I understand marketing. I get it. And if it was because Capaldi was like, hey, it would just be cool to wear sunglasses, that's cool too. But I don't know. In my head, I would be really confused if they introduced a new Sonic item, and BBC were like, nah. Let's not make money. Let's just have it happen for a month.
Yeah, I don't think there actually are specific sunglasses that you can buy, like labeled like Sonic sunglasses.
Then that proves to Capaldi's point, apparently. Though the problem with that is, why only keep them for 4 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's also an idea, like looking at some other things that have been written just here, looking at it quickly, that, Moffat just wanted to do things a little differently, like here and there, and it's like, don't worry, he'll get his screwdriver back, it was just kind of toying around with the idea of, like, what if he had something else kind of thing. And it's interesting. I've kind of thought about it, and it makes more sense for the later episodes, so I won't go into that too much, but it almost felt like in Magician's Apprentice when, you know, he leaves the screwdriver for Davros. It's the idea when he runs away and he leaves him there, he leaves him stranded. It almost felt like to me like, you know, the Sonic, like there is a joke that, or even interviews with Moffat, it's like, you know, the joking about, you know, the Doctor having a sonic screwdriver. It's like, you know, or even Captain Jack has said this. Oh, you know, have you ever, you know, who have you ever talked to that's looked at a screwdriver and said, this would be great if we could make it a little more sonic. But
yeah, I remember that.
The sense that the Doctor always has a tool that makes, you know, odd sounds or looks weird, but it somehow helps him in his travels across the galaxy. I don't know. I always think of it as, you know, the Doctor never carries a weapon. Yeah, it's a sonic screwdriver, and that sounds kind of ridiculous, but he's always carrying a tool. He's never
it's
out
not
to
a sonic
fight.
hammer.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Which could double as a weapon. It's like, no, it's specifically something that, I mean, technically, if you took an earth screwdriver and, you know, impaled somebody with it, that could be counted as a weapon too. But
like, still, no, but
not
still,
what we were going
like,
for.
Okay. No, the point is that a screwdriver's main purpose is to fix something, to put it, you know, to actually like screw the thing in or screw it out. Where a hammer is like, all right, take that nail and then boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, like, or okay, we got to break down that door, use the hammer. You wouldn't say we got to break down that door, use the screwdriver, unless of course you were unscrewing, like gently.
Right.
But if you were like, no, it's broken down, let's just take it off completely, you wouldn't be like, all right, cool, I guess I'll stab it with the screwdriver. It's like, no, dude, get the hammer.
Yeah. But the idea
so that's
that
my take on it.
Here he leaves it for Davros, and then he realizes who this child is. It's like, oh, you are the creator of the most genocidal maniacs in all of time and space, and the destroyer of my world, all of the people I knew and loved. Granted, I saved the planet, so that's, but still, all of that still happened. It's like, no, I'm not helping you. But the Doctor's still ashamed. It's like that child has not done anything wrong yet.
Yeah.
That is his future self. So really, the Doctor is like, I still left an innocent child to die in a minefield. I'm not the Doctor anymore.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
no,
that's what it felt like to me. Like,
yeah.
he doesn't make or get a new screwdriver because he's like, no. And I know the screwdriver doesn't make the Doctor, haha. But it's the idea, it's like, no, that is a tool of the Doctor. I have done something that is not worthy of that title, of that promise that I am.
Yeah.
That I am the Doctor. You know, obviously not as bad as his whole inner fight with himself about, you know, the Eighth Doctor or the War Doctor. Like,
yeah, no, that's the thing. Like,
it's not as severe as that, but in the sense, it still felt like, to me, for these few episodes, until he gets a new screwdriver, he's kind of like, in some sense, he doesn't feel like the Doctor. He doesn't feel like himself. And maybe that's just me and reading into it in my own way, because in a later episode, when he gets the new one, it kind of feels more apparent for me. And in this moment here, it feels more apparent for me. The episodes in between those two moments are kind of like, you know, he's not really thinking about that right now. So it's kind of odd.
But I'll give it to you, though. In these 6 episodes, in many ways, he didn't feel like the Doctor. So I'm okay with you putting that out there. I'm okay with going with that train of thought. Like, oh, no, he really, in a way, wasn't the Doctor. But, of course, the problem is that he was. This isn't like a new incarnation trying to find himself.
Right.
This is an incarnation. Because, like, the thing, too, is that, like, if this is the first time Capaldi had been the Doctor, it'd be like, oh, he's trying to find himself. But it's like, dude, you've been the Doctor for a bit now, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm not the Doctor anymore. For good reason, I get it. But then, like, him fucking with time, it's like, it really feels like you are going to die. And I guess maybe he thought he was, because he was always prepared to die with not that Clara would die or that Missy would die, but that he would end up dying trying to help Davros, or that Davros would betray him, or something would happen and then he would end up dying in the process. I think he always had a feeling like somehow the hybrid's going to come out of this and I'm going to die. Right?
Right.
Because he didn't know what the prophecy would foretell. He knew what the prophecy would foretell, but not what would actually happen, because that's just a prophecy. Right?
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm going to actually probably die here, so fuck it. But still, I think the problem is that, like, I don't know, it still is even though I understand, he wasn't feeling like himself, I just feel like, not just with Newer Who in general, but definitely with Moffat, he's trying to really show, like, a darker side to the Doctor, where it's like, this guy who did all these bad things, and it's like, I know that he did, but after a while you start to think, and I don't want to be a jerk here, but I think that the ratings might be down, not just for obviously some other reasons. You might be like, a lot of gaming and streaming and things like that. But ratings, or some people who don't like the fact that they're, showcasing other races, right? Some people might be like, oh no, how dare they not have a pure white Who? Now that sounds terrible, but people like that exist, right? But I think that one of the reasons why the ratings might be going down is because there are some people that are like, why is this why do I want to follow the Doctor whenever I see some episodes, it's like, man, this guy killed a lot of people. How horrible is that? Like, after a while, you just kind of want to feel like you just have a nice, good Doctor again.
Yeah.
And I feel like...
Let my hero be the hero. Yes, he has his ghosts, but everyone does. That doesn't mean he doesn't try to make right by it whenever he can.
And he does try to make right by it whenever he can. They haven't taken that away from him. But it definitely feels like Moffat's Who has harped on the ghosts a little bit too much. Ghosts that, again, of course they exist. But here's the thing, too, right? You give them new ghosts, and that's the problem, where it's just like, it's okay to focus. Like, the War Doctor, I don't think anyone, I mean, if they want to complain about it, they could, for other reasons. But to complain about it like, why are you giving him more ghosts? It's like, no, that was always there. We're just seeing it, right?
Right.
But this
Davros
that was his
own
thing,
people
it's
in his
new.
own home, too.
Right. Yes, but this Davros thing is new. So you literally gave him a new thing to feel bad about and then have us go, but is the Doctor really just? Just kidding. He actually is just.
Right.
So, like, I feel like I feel like they're doing it too much after a while. Where, like, after a while it's just like, okay, enough with him being, not conflicted, because you can be conflicted, but, like, enough with him being, so... I don't know, is he a bad guy or a good guy? We don't even know. Right. Why should we even watch? Why should we even like him? Who should look up to the Doctor, really? It's like, okay, then look up to Clara, who puts people in harm's way? Great, we have two of them. No, really. So, like, at that point, it's just like, obviously I'd let my kid watch Doctor Who, right? I would. But if the thought is, my kid who should be like, I love the Doctor, I want to be just like him. It's like, yes, of course, the realness is, hey, look, people have problems and they need to overcome them. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, after a while, it feels like it's too much. Like, it's too much angst. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's too much. One thing I want to say, though, one thing I did like, though, is that it does bring up the question, in this first two-parter, it brings up the question, like, would you kill baby Hitler? And that's not a new question. People have brought that up for ages. Would you kill baby Hitler? And people are like, well, I would. And then someone would go, just to be a contrarian, well, it's a baby, though. It's not Hitler yet.
Right.
People go, fuck.
It's not,
right?
It's not the source of evil that you know it to be in the future.
No.
Right now, technically, that baby has not done anything wrong yet.
No.
Yet.
And then usually their response is, so when was like the exact moment he got into politics? I'll kill that guy. He's a man at that point. I'll kill that one. I'll kill that Hitler. What was the moment he said, you know what, I'm going to run for office. I'll kill that Hitler. And everyone's like, no, will you kill baby or child Hitler? And it's like, fuck. Right?
Yeah. And even then it
right?
becomes the idea of, well, then you're a murderer as well. It's like, yeah, but what if I stop the mass genocide that happens in World War II? You've
exactly
come to...
And there's,
the impasse. It's like, well, you still murdered. You'd save a lot of people, yes, but you still technically murdered someone.
Exactly. So, so this question comes up, I think the only problem is with this question first off, again, great question. But the problem is that I feel like the Doctor is in a lose-lose situation. Not because we're comparing it to Hitler, just comparing it to Davros and the Daleks, which in a sick way, even though it's a fantasy show, is even worse.
Kind
it's
of
a fantasy show,
idea.
but in a way it's even no, it is the exact same idea. However, in a weird way, the Daleks are worse because they wouldn't stop with Earth; they'd just keep going, or certain select people on Earth.
Right.
Yes. Now, granted, yes,
it's
everything that isn't
all
them,
life
that's
in
the
the
same
universe.
concept. Yes, that's the same concept. But again, So the question is like, you put the Doctor situation where he's just like, no, I couldn't kill one person. In fact, maybe in a way I can try and change. Like, not even like he was like, I'll change him. He was like, I'll just give him the concept of mercy and then leave.
Right. Yeah.
And which is a nice concept, but at the same time, it's like, but you're just setting it up so that it'll work. Like, it's the thing that has to be set up, right? Like, he knows, I have to set this up because, again, the whole concept, a concept that's actually been true with all 5 out of 6 of these episodes, in a way. If I set it up a certain way here, that means it'll always be this way, which is good because that's the way I saw it. So I have to make sure that it exists. Like the idea that mercy exists in their vocabulary, that they don't want to, that they, being the Daleks, don't want to kill their dad, Davros. But again, right, you put the Doctor in a really weird situation where it's just like, does he kill a kid? Of course he won't. That kid is Davros. Now the Daleks have killed everything in the galaxy, and the Doctor has to let it happen. Yes, in theory, the Doctor not going back to explicitly kill him is him letting it happen. But he's always solving something. But they put him in that exact situation. And yes, the quote-unquote just thing is to not kill Davros. But they've killed so many people, so many beings throughout the entire galaxy universe that in a sick and twisted way, I know one is fantasy, one is reality, the scale tips against the Daleks even worse. So it makes the Doctor, in a way, look worse for not stopping it, even though... So I feel like it's a question that Doctor Who didn't have to ask, actually. I love that they asked it, but they didn't have to.
Right.
Because I don't think the Doctor looks better coming out of it on either side. Because, again, it's a conundrum that, again, people face, just in hypotheticals. But when you show a show like this doing it, it is now the Doctor doing that. And also, by the way, interestingly enough, he's like, oh, I can't stop this in the past because, that would be terrible. But I'm going to kill them all right now.
Yeah.
So it's just like, wait a minute. What is my hero doing? Like, my hero is like, I can't stop it in the past because that would be immoral. But thankfully, you have done everything bad. So now I'm going to fucking kill you. And I'm like,
And that's also, because the Doctor even says, like, on a very good day, I am the Doctor, and I can do the right thing. It's like, there are plenty of times, and even that as an example there. And yes, it's kind of like within the same two-parter, so it is kind of jarring in a sense when you put it that way.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But it's the sense of he's still prone to losing his composure. It's like, yeah, the Doctor can be a very, very, very dangerous and scary man when he is angry. I mean, anyone has that potential. It's the choice, though, to not fall to that and to do something regrettable and terrible in those moments, basically lashing out in pain. Because, the Doctor puts it, it's like, go ahead. So go ahead. It's like, I'm hoping beyond all, Clara Oswald is dead. You saw it yourself. Yeah, I know I did. But you better hope, you better hope to whatever you believe in this galaxy that we're both wrong. Because, who's going to be the one to tell me she's dead? Who's going to be the first one? See what happens.
Here's the thing.
Fucking happens.
Believe me. Look, I'm not saying that. I'm the one who said earlier in the podcast, man, I want to see more Daleks die. But I'm just saying that in the same two-parter, like you had just, acknowledged, it's a little jarring to be like, I can't do this. He's just a child. But thankfully, I will travel to the future when it's all already happened. And then murder. Like, it's just like, wait a minute. Now let's let's lighten the mood a little bit here. I feel like Clara,
okay.
when she was in...
Before we
I just want to lighten the mood for a split second.
There's one thing I wanted to ask you about. I mean, it kind of lightens the mood, but there is one thing I wanted to ask you about Davros. In that moment where he cries and he actually says, you know, it seems to be like the one thing that they actually agree on. Like, you know, Davros says, "I'm so happy to hear that you've reclaimed your home and your people, you know, the place that you belong to. Like, we may be bitter enemies and I may want to see you dead like nothing else in this world, but I'm happy for you that, you know, you have your home and your people. You know, a person should always have a place to belong to." Do you think that was actually legit, or do you think that was all part of Davros's plan to play on the Doctor's compassion to get him to then, quote unquote, regenerate the Daleks? Do you think that was all part of the master plan, or do you think for a second he actually felt something?
I think it's A and B. I think because I think it's interesting. I think he wanted to play on his emotions, but however he thought, oh shit, more of you. Like, in his head, I'm sure he wanted to kill them all. But the fact that he's like, I couldn't kill all of you couldn't die. There's only one of you left. But obviously throughout all this time that he's been isolated and it's just him with all these fucking metal tin cans, that it's kind of just, I mean, granted, there's little slushy things inside, but still filled with hate. But still, these fucking tin cans all around him, he's like, yeah, like, fucking, I do not like isolation. So I think in a way he did feel, but at the same time, I think in general the whole goal was manipulate the Doctor. But in that moment, though, it technically didn't coincide with anything he said previous and after. Like, it was kind of just a very, like, one-off veering off of, like, oh, shit, you know, I got to be... Like, yeah, no, it did feel like it was... Yeah, so it might have been legit in all of the bullshit. It may have been like, honestly, I'm happy that you guys, you do have a home to go to. Now get the fuck away from me. Give me your energy and go away.
Yeah.
But no, I was going to say, just to lighten the mood up a little bit, I feel like Clara in the Dalek suit, to try to prove herself to the Doctor, should have said some things that no Dalek would ever say. And she was trying to say the stuff, but it was like, no, that was the stuff that literally Missy said wouldn't work. Like, she should have said some things like, poop and butts, just something to, like, completely make the Doctor...
Excuse me?
I have a hiney! Tiny, like just something that he'd be like, "That's not right."
And like, no, he doesn't even say anything. It's just one of those eyebrow lines. Like his eyebrows go up. Like the fuck.
Like just like, you know, I don't know. Like I feel like there's certain things that a Dalek just wouldn't say.
Right.
You know, like I don't know, like just certain things here and there, but not like love, hate, because again, those are going to get translated.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or like, you know, it's like, I'm Clara Oswald. I am a Dalek. It's like, look, I know you're freaking out in the moment, but Missy literally just told you that shit wouldn't work, and you're clever.
I mean,
what are you going to do?
Yeah. No, I would feel the same way too, but I guess it's the idea that she's technically at gunpoint, so she's kind of freaking out and not thinking it through. That's the only way you can
give
really...
it to ya. What
oh
the
my
fuck?
God.
What in the fuck? Did the Dalek just say X gonna give it to you? Just Missy? Gangster rap in space. It's terrible. Like, just,
okay.
Like, what are you gonna, like, just, little, like, I just, imagine just, like, little shit like that. Like, you're sitting there, just like, I prefer Dobbs over subs. He really is a monster. We must destroy it.
Oh man, I love the fact that after that, when the Doctor gets, you know, Clara out of the suit, I love how he just goes, Missy, run.
Yeah,
because it was, I'm just imagining what Missy was like, ooh, what you gonna do? You gonna kill me? Like, I don't think she would have actually run. She would have been like,
you know why?
Do it, motherfucker.
No, because I think after that moment, she's like, oi, like, something's going to happen.
Well, and she's probably like, yeah, you know what, I had my fun, whatever.
That too. No, because I honestly think that in that moment, she was like, I don't think he's going to kill me, but, like,
just on the off
he's
chance that he does.
Yeah. Well, because think about it. I mean, yes, even though the question came up like, oh, did you know that she was going to teleport away? He probably had a feeling, but also at the same time, if he didn't, then it'd be like, great, she's dead.
Right.
Right? So it's just in that same vein of like, you know,
and it's interesting.
He shot me once. He shot me once when he had to. Yeah.
He didn't technically shoot her. You mean from Darkwater? Or are you referencing another time?
No, Darkwater. Yeah, he shot her, but then she used the teleportation.
No, he didn't shoot her. That was the whole point. It was the general in the Cyberman suit that shot her.
Sorry. My bad. Sorry. Right, of course that was the brigadier. My bad.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that he was about to though. So like just the idea of like this might be the moment, right?
And I guess
you're right.
She still had
brigadier.
Like you said, she still has the idea she's going to teleport even if he does do it. And in that way, like she really has won because it's like, well, I got you to do what I wanted you to do, and I brought you down to my level. So you know what? I win.
Yeah.
I don't even have to try and kill you anymore. You're already me. And that's always something the Master seems to want out of the Doctor. But there's also that sense that the Master always has an escape plan. The Master always has this idea of self-preservation, no matter what it takes, underlying everything else. Everything. There is always that final thought in the back of its head. I'm getting out of here.
Yes. So what's interesting is that I so in the parody, right, in that parody video, the Red Nose Day one. No, but here's the thing: the Master works together with the Daleks. So when Missy was like, I'm going to work together with them, I'm like, oh shit, it's really happening. He's literally outlined this 20 years in advance, and Moffat's just going to fucking continue this here. And then all of a sudden they shoot her, and I was like, well, that's different.
Right.
Well, that was the other
thing. That was the other thing, too. Missy just, like, shaking Davros' hand. It's like, it's finally a pleasure to meet you. I'm a real fan of your work. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Also when she poked him in the eye.
Oh, yeah, that, too. She's like, I've always wanted to do this.
No, my God. It was, Missy's a lot of fun. That's the thing. Like, when you look at her charisma, you're like, God damn, like, I love this. I love the actress that plays her. I love the character.
Oh, yeah.
But anywho, so we already talked about part one, I think, enough. Unless there's the two-parter, the first two-parter. We can move on to, even though we already talked about it a little bit earlier, I think we can move on quickly to, the next two-parter. But again, we mentioned so much about it. The one thing I want to say, though, that I did mention earlier is I want to mention how I liked, even though I felt that it wasn't Doctor Who, I still liked when Capaldi opened up, when this Doctor opened up the second part with like, let me talk to you about Beethoven, Beethoven.
Oh,
and
yeah,
shit like that, right?
The bootstrap paradox. Right.
Yes. Now, I didn't like it in terms of like, I don't feel like Doctor Who should do it this way, or Doctor Who does this. Like, this is more of like a Tales of the Crypt, fact or fiction kind of, or like any of those like Freddy's Nightmare kind of shows where like, we start off with this character and then and then they'll do the whole thing, like they'll do their spiel and then we'll jump into the episode. I'm usually not a big fan of that. Like I'm a fan of that when it's not in Doctor Who, right? Because I'm like, this isn't what Doctor Who is. But I will admit, though, Capaldi is really good at it, and they shot it in a way that I really did enjoy it as a concept. Again, like I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I liked it in the actual episode. Like I would rather prefer they do, because like even like like the way Missy described what happened with them. We're like, how did we get out of that? Well, I'd use the transporter. Imagine if she had explained that to the audience with Clara. Like I'm saying, like. That's the thing. Like, I'm not a big fan of like this whole like explain to the audience thing, but it still worked. Like, obviously, it had to be done in some way, to kind of tie in, because obviously not everyone knows about that paradox. Right. Although it's funny because this is a show that's done that paradox multiple times, not even under multiple doctors. I'm pretty sure once with this doctor. But if not, and I'm forgetting, then okay. cool they had to explain it. But like, yeah, how did you feel about that? Because when I said it, it sounded like you didn't like it.
I mean, anything that makes it follow with Pete Capaldi playing his guitar for the actual opening for the episode,
yeah,
I have to go with. But yeah, I really, I don't know. I wasn't kind of a fan of the whole paradox idea.
Yeah. Well, not the paradox idea, just him mentioning it to the fans in that way instead of it being the actual episode. Like, oh, hey, we're just going to open up with Capaldi talking to everyone.
Yeah.
As the Doctor.
I don't know. Even just the sense of, like I said before, like having this episode be a two-parter and like it getting too convoluted. I feel like if they wanted to have 12 with a paradox, they could have just made another episode for that instead of tagging it into this episode to make it a two-parter.
I agree. You're right. I agree 100%. But now, question, before we move on to, even though we already discussed it, the next two episodes, I want to ask you, out of all these episodes, and two-parters count as one episode, out of all these episodes, which one was your favorite?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the first two as my favorite out of this group.
For me, it's between the first two or the last one. Because I think the last one, it being able to stand out, you know, not really be part, like, even though it continues the story of me, quote-unquote me, it's still, I don't know, it still stood on its own really well. I enjoyed the century they went to. Funnily enough, though, I feel like when it came to the episode before it, the one with, the Vikings, I felt like they just wanted to reuse some sets that they used in the first episode. Where, like, you know, like when the Doctor comes in the tank, I feel like they wanted to reuse those sets and those costumes, and that's why they're like, fuck it, Valhalla with Vikings. You see what I mean? Because, like, it was such a quick thing with, like, the barn and everything, and all of a sudden we see some of that shit later, and I'm like, they just wanted to reuse the set.
Right.
So that was kind of funny in a way. But yeah, you know what I enjoyed too, by the way? I enjoyed the monsters a lot. The designs for all of the monsters, I don't know what happened, but in my head it feels like they were so practical but still over the top in a way that felt like they were like there was a decent budget given to them, right? Like the Fisher King and that lion, like the lion person.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed them. Even the ghosts, the way they were just people, but like they just they messed with them ever so. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved how the ghosts looked and act in that episode. I did love that.
Yeah, even that other random dude, the one who is from, you know, the race of people who want to be subservient and actually want to be enslaved. Also, I loved his description of like, man, you know, there was that one point when we weren't enslaved. It was terrible. And I laughed so hard. It's just like, you just want to be enslaved. It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh, man. But yeah, so, you know what's very interesting about the Fisher King? When the Fisher King screamed, it was actually one of the vocalists from Slipknot who did the voice. I'm shitting you not. It sounds like I'm making a joke.
Okay, then.
Yes, obviously the voice wasn't that guy. I believe I forgot who did the voice for Fisher King, but the scream was actually one of the vocalists from Slipknot.
Right. Damn.
So yeah, so the scream, the roar thing, that's that's rock and roll, baby. It was hilarious. I was like, wait a minute, what? Why is he in an episode of Doctor Who? And it's just like, yeah, I don't know how he got in. But maybe he auditioned. I don't know. But he did the scream. So that was very interesting. But yeah, so, yeah, not much to really say about the Ghost two-parter, other than I love that they included someone who is deaf, because I feel like there are a lot of communities that we see on the surface, right, based on either skin color or you know, or other aspects that we see represented more now, thankfully, right, due to the fact that people are going, oh, shit, right, they exist. And so we're then seeing them in television. But I think one community that really gets left out, right, is the deaf community.
Right.
Like, you don't really hear this call to have people who are deaf or even autistic be kind of like represented in television, right? Like it's gotten to the point where we as a society, doesn't matter where you are, either UK or America, are like, yeah, no, we need to show different people and more representation. But it always seems like it comes down to, black or in my case, I'm Hispanic, so, kind of a browner skin, or even, brown skin, you look at your Indian people or Guyanese, and I'm leaving a lot of groups out. Of course, Asian is a huge group that people talk about that gets, doesn't get really represented as much. But I feel like people really don't talk about, like, the deaf community. Autism is also something else, but, there wasn't someone autistic in this episode, so we're going to focus on the deaf community. So I think it was a good thing to just introduce someone who's not only, who's deaf, but also who's strong and who's basically the commander, who, needs someone to sign for them, but doesn't mean that she can't tell that something's going wrong, that she's a damsel in distress, or that she can't just read your lips.
Right.
And she was the best person to have read lips. And I was like, that's fucking beautiful. Because other people can read the lips too, but, like, she's the one who's been trained to, like, no, in the off chance that I don't have someone to sign for me, I need to read lips.
Right.
So I think it was a great thing to have in the episode because, there's a very large Indian population in the UK. So that's why, in the last, in this iteration of Who, you've seen more Indian people because it's like, hey, they exist, right? I'm not saying they never existed, but again, just this concept of like, people who write for television or who cast for television or and movies as well, just refer to Doctor Who, are like, hey, we exist, right? So when it comes to, the deaf community, again, it's just nice to have that represented because I can't remember any time in Doctor Who's history, I'm sure it had happened once, but any time in Doctor Who's history that I would go, oh, hey, that's a deaf character. I literally can't think of it. Again, I'm sure I'm wrong, right? I'm usually wrong about a lot of things, especially on the show, but I can't think of one deaf character.
Oh.
So I feel like there's one, but again, even saying, well, there's two, that's still,
Right, yeah.
But you're right. You saying that, I feel like there's one, right, that I'm missing. One person. I
can't like call up an example, but you're like you saying it like you're right. There has to be at least one somewhere else. They might not have been a main character of the story like this one, but I feel like they were in there somewhere.
But even then, that's in a way not so funny, but in a sarcastic kind of funny, like, but that's how you put it, right? Like, there had to be one, and it's like, great. I'm glad we narrowed it down to two.
Right, yeah.
So having her is amazing, and also having her be in love with the person signing with her is such a cute little thing that they did that I think, having that two-parter, like if you were going to say, oh, we had the two-parter to kind of, give them some more time so that it would make more sense for them to be in love rather than just in the first part, I thought I saw something there in the first part, but it wasn't as big as it was.
It's not really brought up until the very end of the episode anyway, so...
No, but, like, in my opinion, I saw little things between them when you rewatch the episode, throughout the two episodes. Like, little things that could be like, at least that he loves her, or that she relies on him so much that there might be something there. Like, not just like, oh, you signed for me, but, like, no, like, I need you, I care for you. I don't know, I felt like that was there. So, maybe I'm wrong, right, but I felt like that was there a little bit. So...
Okay.
I do think that it made more sense to have it show up in two episodes, like them interacting, rather than if they were in love and they just showed it in one episode. I feel like that would be like kind of like the Hollywood thing where it's like, it's only been one episode, man. Really? Mm-hmm. Like, we haven't even seen much of you on screen. But seeing it through two episodes, I think maybe like made you root for them a little bit, especially after the other guy, the woman that he loved. I keep on forgetting her name, just badass McDoctor Who fan. When she died.
Yeah,
and
O'Donovan, I think. Or
O'Donovan, thank you. Yeah, O'Donnell. Yeah.
Yeah, O'Donnell, so when it might have been, actually.
Yeah. But when she passed, and then he was just like, look, don't let it slip through your hands. You need to. I think one thing that I found weird was like, one thing that I think the episode should have done, and I think it may have been a bit too much for Doctor Who, or at least a bit too much for this two-parter. But the fact that it's like, oh, no, they died. It's like, cool, where are the bodies? Like, if they're minds are still there, why can't we reverse the polarity of the neutron flow? I mean, it sounds cool, I don't know. But reverse the polarity of the neutron flow and put them back in their bodies. They're technically not dead if their minds are still there.
Yeah, and
you see what I mean?
Because that feels
like
it gets into a whole another question of life and death kind of thing.
I know, just to me, it felt like when, and you could have technically argued the same thing too, but obviously so much was going on at this point. It felt the same way with Pink, where it's just like, wait a minute, can we take his mind and move it to his body? That's still, it's cold, but it still exists. No one's, other than the minor autopsy stuff, no one's really fucked it over, right?
Right.
But still, I get it. That was too much going on at that moment. That was rough.
Well, because I feel like at least for these two episodes, I feel like not all of them had a body to go back to. Because I'm pretty sure O'Donnell, the Fisher King, vaporized her. Like, I don't know. I think it was
that's
just
true,
the sound
actually,
effect that I heard, but pretty sure she got vaporized.
No, but they found her body though.
Yeah. Oh God,
yeah.
never mind. Fuck.
I thought you were going to say that
weird.
she just like evaporated later or something, but like her body was still there.
You're
understand
right.
if the other dude,
because he runs up and
the other dude,
up.
you could,
You're right.
yeah, but even the other dude still had a body, like the the Enslave Me Empire guy. He still had his body. So everyone that was there had their body.
Oh, the only one that wouldn't have had a body. Oh, you know who did get vaporized? Their first, not the commander, because. Or did she become acting commander? The guy who pushed her out of the way at the beginning of the episode.
Yes. Oh, yes. No, the African American guy. Yes. Yes. So he's dead. So we'll try to find him a new body. We're sorry, bro. But everyone else was recent. Sorry, dude. We'll find you something new. But everyone else, to a certain degree.
I'll give you a Cyberman suit. Wait, what?
Yeah. Right. I don't think this is literally the exact opposite of what we need to do here, Doctor. But like everyone else. Even it's like, oh no, but there was the Enslave Me guy, but he was in the ship just fine because that's what, it's supposed to be, like a hearse. So his body was A-okay. So everyone, minus that one guy, which sucks, everyone could have been put, oh actually no, I'm sorry. You're forgetting someone, Tristan. In the vastness of the depths of the sea, I have a bunch of money here.
Yeah, that's the oil company guy.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say him too. It's like he has a body technically, but it's floating somewhere in that lake now.
No, it's like, don't worry, we'll get your commander a new body. What about him? No, Unit will take care of that. He's the only one left. Either that or it's like his family has money. They'll put him in. They'll put him into something.
Oh, jeez.
No, but I don't know. In my head, right, in the same way, like, because it's like, I guess maybe they use the word soul, I guess, like, oh, you take their souls to make it seem like there's no way of bringing them back, maybe. Because in my head, I'm like, well, wait, their brains, like, electromagnetic, like, it makes you think, like, oh, it's not really, I don't know, like, because of the fact that you're using them, like, I don't know, to me it felt like there could have been a way to put them back in.
Yeah,
via,
if you're making the argument
stuff.
that it's their brain waves, then how could you remove the actual waves if the organ, the brain itself, is no longer functioning? Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You could remove them because Doctor Who fuckery, and like you're utilizing it, so it's not like it's But still, the fact that we're utilizing it. Oh, the beacon is still technically being sent out. They're still in the room. Because if it was like, oh, I killed the Fisher King, I killed the Fisher King. So it isn't being sent out anymore. I'd be like, cool. But no, it's being sent out still. Then you could rework this thing and put the body back in. I'm sure people would be like, no, it's too much, and it wouldn't. Like, it would be too much. It would be too much like, yay, everyone's alive, yay. But still, when you sit there and you're – and again, also, I'm sure they wanted this two-parter to be here because it would lead right into – the episode with quote unquote me, right, with Ashilda, and then it's like I can't lose any more.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's I've lost too many. We keep on losing them every single like I thought I lost you in the first two-parter, and then he's naming them as if they're episodes. And then And then there was the audio novels that people didn't see yet, but like, I Thought I Lost You Then too. So like, he starts naming everything. And then the books, I don't even consider the books. But still.
Oh.
So, what?
And also the idea of why do I have this face?
Beautiful. I knew you were going to bring that up. I was going to bring it up next. Beautiful.
Yeah, referencing back to 10 and Donna when they find them when Mount Vesuvius goes off. It's like, if you can't save the whole village, it doesn't have to be, altering time in the whole village, but just someone. It seems odd because it's kind of a reverse in this sense. It's like you saved the town, but you lost the one girl that you kind of liked. It's like, no, I'm going to let her live.
And also, the person he saved literally was so old at that point that he literally could have, just tripped on something and died. So he could have just saved him and be like, I saved one, and then he's like, thank you, and then trips and falls and dies. But the point is, yes, just save one. And I loved it so much because it's like, yeah, he's played other people in the show before, and it's just kind of weird if you're going to sit there and be like, nah, it doesn't matter. When, it was a one-off thing. But, if you're going to bring, I don't know, if you, even though it wasn't a one-off thing, right? If, oh, God, what's his name? James Corden, right? If James Corden had played the character once, even though he played it more than once, but if you remember James Corden, he played the dad of Stormageddon.
Right.
The baby?
Yes.
Yes. If he had appeared once, and then he became the next Doctor, I'd be sitting around so we're really not going to mention that he was Stormageddon's dad? Now, he appeared twice, I believe, so that's why I'm not going to. But still, I would be sitting around we should, I don't know, I feel like we should reference why it's James Corden playing this, looking like the exact same version of, the person he's seen, because the Doctor never has done that before. As far as I remember, there's never been a Doctor that has been in the show once and then went on to play, or character, and then went on to play the Doctor.
Yeah.
We had Karen Gillan as one of the sisters of Khan, but we never had, or Karn rather, says Karn, but we never had a Doctor be someone else, and then I'm pretty sure we haven't, and then come back only a few years later, really, because you look at the gap between, yes, Capaldi looks a lot older, but still, you look at the gap between, Dr. Donna, which was 09?
Yeah, somewhere.
Or 08? 08,
yeah.
Let's say, right? 08, and then even if you're 07, still 07, 08 versus 2013, that's only 5 to 6 years. So, that's not a large gap. If this was a 30-year gap where he was I played it, 30 years ago, I don't know if I'd be that inclined. It would be nice, but I wouldn't be clamoring for it.
Right. I mean,
but
I don't know. It felt, it feels odd to me because it felt like it was supposed to be something incredibly significant, and then it's only really a point to remind himself in one episode, and oddly enough, it kind of reminds him to do the wrong thing, quote unquote, or reminds himself to break the rules sometimes, and it's yes, I can do this, I can do anything, I'm the Doctor. It's yeah, I mean, anyone kind of has the potential to do anything, and I guess you being you have more of the potential to do life-changing things. And yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But, so yes, you saved the little girl who was afraid of dying, and that was great. But once all of her people die around her and she lives on, and you bring in the idea of she becomes an immortal and lives all these lives and loses all these people. Now, granted, I like the dynamic that you have the Doctor walking around with another quote-unquote immortal character, and he even references Jack Harkness later on. It's yeah, I once traveled with another immortal. But Jack, in a weird way, Jack kind of had a happier tale, it seems, than he does, because she kind of lives through all the terrible things the Doctor has kind of lived through. But it's the idea that, well, A, she can't remember it all because, A, she still has, the mind of a mortal being. So the mind can't necessarily keep all of that information and feeling and emotion in your brain for that long. It's like some of that's going to deteriorate and you're going to forget. That's why she writes the journals.
Yeah.
And then B, the idea that, it kind of gets to you after a while. It's like, Doctor, even you know that. Granted, yes, you're not human, but, that'll bring anyone down and turn them into something that they're not. The whole line of, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Here we are. Granted, he's able to turn her around in the end and be like, no, look, see, you do still care. You want to act like you don't because it hurts so much. And he's like, yes, it's infuriating. You think you don't care, and then you turn around, and suddenly you realize you still do. But, I don't know.
Well, no, I just want to say, so first off, we have to wrap some things up soon. But before we do, I want to say that I love that you mentioned that point because I'm pretty sure when it first aired, like essentially 2 years ago at this point, I'm pretty sure you and I both made that point to each other. We were like, hey, man, like, isn't it funny that it's like, I remember this thing, and it's like, great, you made the wrong decision, though, by remembering it. Like, that's literally saying, like, remember, kids, anytime you want to, like, I think the point isn't, hey, kids, remember, if you ever think, like, oh, right, this is why I'm supposed to do the good thing. You have to do the exact opposite, because the reason why you're like, this is why I have to do the good thing, it's never the good thing. No, that's not the point, right? That's a joke that we're making. The point is that sometimes you can make a mistake even if you think you're doing the right thing. But you have to learn from that, and sometimes you have to live with those mistakes. That's the point. Right?
Yeah.
But it just comes off as such a large thing that, again, happened in episode 5. That's something that happens with Davros. That's some shit you pull out with Davros.
Right.
That's some shit that you literally have him go, I'm going to help him because I remembered that I'm supposed to say, like, I'm not the killer. I'm the one that's supposed to, even though it wouldn't be bending the rules necessarily to have him, not kill Davros. That's actually going with the rules. But still, the point is that, like, I don't know, like, again, like another Time Lord, even though it's like, oh, well, would you? I feel like another Time Lord would potentially kill young Davros. Maybe I'm wrong. I know the Time Lord's supposed to be like, no, never, I would never. It's like, really? You wouldn't kill Davros? Really? No, of course I wouldn't. We're Time Lords.
Yeah.
I don't believe you. I don't believe him. But anyway.
And
so,
I guess it's the idea of, like, the ripples, because that's, like, ripples through time turning into tidal waves kind of thing. It's like...
Yeah.
Like,
it's just,
I don't know.
A fucking tidal wave all the time.
Right. A lot of Kool-Aid... Or even when Clara says, it's like, you're a tidal wave, and he's like, don't say that. That's actually kind of offending me. Like, don't say that. I'm not like that.
Sorry.
Oh, God, am I? It's like, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
You kind of are.
No, like, literally, like, we said it earlier in the show, everything that he's ever saved may have been the thing that was supposed to happen to make everything back on track. For all we know, the fact that like, literally, every time the Doctor saves one thing, he should come back to the Earth in what is considered the present day with something completely different, like fish ruling the world. He made a joke, but seriously, every time he goes back to save something in the past or in the future or whatever, the world that he comes back to should be completely fucked. It really should.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, we have to wrap things up here. I wish we didn't have to, but we have 30 seconds left. I want to say that I love you guys so much. I want to thank you all for listening in. But you know what? I'll let Tristan finish his point. Tristan, would you?
No, just the idea that maybe it's not, like, life-threatening, like, the change, but, like, you're right. There should be something changed. And maybe it's not fish ruling the world, but, the idea that, quote-unquote, that we've seen with 9, like, a man that was not alive in the universe before is now alive. It's like, that had some terrible ramifications, but, again, that was another another writer,
Yeah.
different continuity kind of thing. So.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say that we should, we should show changes in the present, because I don't know if I want to do that necessarily. But I will admit, though, yes, it is funny that they're going to try and come at us with, what if I change this? The ramifications would be huge. Doctor, you change everything always. No, but if this one thing, the ramifications would be huge. Doctor, you change everything. And then all of a sudden, for it to be like, well, you know what, then I will change this thing. And it's just like, but then, Doctor, why would you make her immortal and not bring her on your ship at least once?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
I'm
even
pretty
Jack
sure
got
they're
to
trying
party it up with you guys. It's like,
look, I get it, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe at that time he felt worse for Jack, like, oh, God, this happy, horny accident over here. But still, I just feel like, the two H's,
yeah.
But I still feel like, even though I'm not saying he should have done it immediately, he should have let her live with her family. But the fact that he said to her in the next episode, oh, no, I've been checking. Like, in my head, I'm like, oh, God, he's been doing this for God knows how long. Like, the gaps are always fun because you never know how long it's been in between, right? But even funnier, though, the fact that he fell asleep in the chamber in the two-parter, the next, the one with the Fisher King and everything, you kind of wonder, like, was he in cryogenic sleep? He was, right? Because in my head, I'm like, oh, God, did he just automatically age another 2,000, 3,000 years?
Right.
But anyway, but back to, what matters, back to, Shielda/me. Yeah, it's kind of weird that the epiphany is what made the wrong mistake, and that it happened not even in the middle of the series, because in the middle would be 6. So like a little close to the middle-ish in 5, and then we continue it in 6. Now, granted, I think this is something that, you and I never really I'm the one who says when we do Star Wars Wednesdays and we do Clone Wars, and I'm like, hey, I don't like this because, you can't do a 3-parter and end every single episode as if it's the end of one part, right? But in Doctor Who, I respect it more, or at least I appreciate it more, because in Doctor Who, you're always going to be traveling to different points in time. So if they want to continue this character's story, but in a different timeline, it's better to end it as if it's not the final time you're going to see her, but like you end it as if it's its own episode, and then you continue the story again in a different time in the next one. For the Clone Wars, we're only in the Clone Wars. So if you listen to our Clone Wars stuff and you're like, oh, Matt's going to say he likes this 2-parter that's not technically a 2-parter, but then he doesn't like the other ones. Because in Clone Wars, it's all meant to be one war. So when you're just like, General Grievous ran away, and now we're going to fight him again. And you're like, really? Because it just felt like you just ended that by having, Anakin look out towards the stars and go, man, wouldn't it be crazy if I was like Darth something one day? So like, you end it that way, and you make me think, okay, so we're done with the episode. Oh, done with the arc, and then we're just not. So here I like it more than I do there. And I think we could, unless there's anything else you want to say, I think we can kind of end it on that awkward Star Wars-related note.
Well, the only thing I wanted to say with me is that last exchange that they have before the Doctor goes off again. She's like, yeah, you know what? It's like, fine. Then I'll be the one that looks after all the ones that you leave behind, because I know you're going to leave a trail of them.
Which is
nice.
It's
kind of nice, and it's also ominous at the same time. And he's like,
yes,
but, Shielda, we're still friends, of course, aren't we? And she's like, yes and no. I'm not your enemy.
Yeah, that's a little awkward.
But I wouldn't exactly say I'm your friend either.
Yeah, also another thing is, when you see that, I don't remember what the second half is like, but you kind of hope that you're going to see other companions. And if you don't, that's kind of disheartening. Let's see what the future holds, but I don't remember. I don't think there were any cameos, so that may also be a problem. When you sit there and you're kind of like, wait a minute, she's referencing all the people that you left behind. Again, Clara's not the first companion. And this show kind of, like, out of the past few series, like, look, I get it. When you introduce a new Doctor and even a new companion, or if you have the same companion from the old one, but it's still somewhat new, you want to make it seem like, for the viewers watching, that you don't want to boggle so much history down, but you fucking brought back the Shadow Proclamation. All right?
Yeah.
Like, you brought back the Sisters of Karn. You brought back
Right.
you Cybermen. You brought back enough that's just like God. Even though like I know in the UK there's staples, you know, like the Daleks and the Cybermen, but still, my point is that like you can't have her be like, oh, I'm gonna watch over them all, and then show that little selfie with like, oh my God, she watches me over Clara, and it's like, yeah, what about all the other fucking ones?
Yeah.
Not everyone's dead, has amnesia, is in another universe. Or is another, like, you know, like, yeah, universe, technically. Other people exist, too. Other companions. So, yeah,
Or
anyway.
maybe it just seems like those companions got on with their own lives. I mean, that's what it always
No, of
kind of
course.
felt. Not all of them, but, like, a decent amount of them
No.
that I remember at least kind of got on with their own
They-
life afterwards.
They did. Or they were in space somewhere. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
fucking, where does his granddaughter go? But anyway, I'm just saying that when she says, I'm going to watch over them all, you're like, oh, man, how many more, like, you know, who's she going to watch over? Then you sit back and you're like, so it's only going to be Clara? You really can't Photoshop a picture of someone? You can't literally call in. You can't, even though, again, it's still the second half, you can't call in some of the original actors and be like, hey, can you guys take a quick picture together? All right, now get out. We love you. Now leave. Anyway, thank you all for listening. We love you guys. Hopefully you're listening to our podcasts through. I'm doing the whole spiel, but like very aggressively. Hopefully you're listening to us. Maybe by searching us up on iTunes, looking up those guys. Maybe Blog Talk Radio, looking up those guys on the radio at the end of blogtalkradio.com. Maybe, just maybe, you're going through our YouTube archive, searching up those guys on the radio to find us on YouTube. Or maybe you found us through a social media account. I don't know why I'm so angry. Our Facebook account, which is / those guys on the radio. Our Twitter, the eyebrows, right? Our Twitter, which is at those guys radio, or our Instagram, which is / those guys on the radio. And hey, right, maybe you've seen some of our Let's Plays over at Those Guys Play. Search that up on YouTube. Maybe you saw those and you said, hey, those guys have amazing merchandise. I love what those guys are wearing, all those cool shirts, right? In which I would say, cool, then go to our main website, tgproduction.net/merchandise, and you can get some merch there, or you can get it over at our eBay, which is / those guys radio. And you get free shipping with that, too. And you get free shipping. Low prices and free shipping, Tristan. So we want to thank you all for listening in. As always, love you guys. Take care, and hopefully next week, next week we'll have another Doctor Who Wednesday. We should. And, I mean, it'll be on our social media. That's how you'll know. But we should have another one next week, which will be the second half of Series 9. Yeah. So thank you all, and say good night, Tristan.
Good night, everyone.